up, guys? So back for another installation of the chop shop. I've got Sandy in here actually, and what I've got going on is basically dyno prep. As I mentioned before, I do intend on dynoing this thing before I tear this engine out and rebuild it. I don't really have a whole lot to do before I do that. The truck's going in like bone stock form. My radiator leaks real bad. I'm going to swap that out unless I can get somebody to trailer me out there. They probably don't want to leak a radiator on the dyno though, so that needs replaced before the dyno. I'm going to replace my belts because they're just a couple bucks, and then as far as the only other thing I need to do is I need to wire up my tach. I believe I might have done a video of this quite a while ago. I'm gonna hack all this shit off. I half-ass wired this up. I wired it up basically to the battery and coil under the hood and tested this thing. So this thing actually does work. So it's not just a piece of garage art. And I'm gonna wire this thing up. So I got a tach for the dyno. As some of you know, I super suck at wiring. This is super basic. So I'm gonna figure it out. I made this thing once before, I can do it again. I made this thing work before, I can do it again. And what I picked up to keep the cost down is this cost me like $7, under $7 at Meyer. This is just a 4-wire trailer hookup, and I'm gonna cut these ends off, and there's only one wire that runs underneath the hood for this tach. So this is what I'm using, and we're gonna dive on into this. Bam! So here we go, guys. I know this might sound super basic and stupid, but again, I suck at wiring, which means there are a lot of other people out there who suck at wiring even more than I. So if people like me exist, people worse than me exist, people better than me exist. Basically, need some crimpers, some cutters. Just got some butt connectors from Meyer. I got my trailer harness from Meyer. Got my used restored tach, and I got some heat shrink from Harbor Freight that I've had laying around. And what this does is you just take heat to it. You'll run this over your connections and take heat to it. I'll show you. I'm going to try to just use one of these, but I don't like using or leaving open connections or anything, even though they're under the cab and not going to get wet. So try to jump into this. I'm going to try and stay out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and just like it melted right there for no reason. And I actually don't have a knife or anything. This works just the same. I'm just trying to expose the wires here. I'm not trimming or cutting. Whoop. There's our 4 wires. Go ahead and cut this off of here real nice. Am I in the way? Nope. And so we got our 4 wires. It's not exactly the same color code, but I mean, it's just a couple different. We can remember that. And all I'm gonna do is not fuck with this twisty tie, for one. And I know this seems crazy because I just bought this and it has ends on it. We're gonna cut those off. And buying this with ends on it actually probably cost me a quarter of the price. A roll of wire, individual colors, was like $7 a piece. So I had to get 4 different colors. $7. So we'll just cut these right off. And I'll go ahead and just do the green one since we already got green. And bam, exposes your wire. Give it a little twisty. Oop. Helps when you use the proper diameter. What I'm going to do actually is go ahead and slide over my little shrink wrap before I start crimping. because if you don't, you'll regret it. And I'm just going to slide it up here so it's out of the way. Bink, bink. And slide it nuts in there. Crimpers are color coded. Blue, blue. That simple. Just give her a nice little pinch. Hold it on there. Do the same thing on the green of this end. And a little twisty. A little twisty. Helps it slide into its hole a little better. And bam, we just started extending our harness. I'm going to go ahead and jump forward to when I have all of these done and then show you the shrink wrap. And bam. So, and here we go. So, green to green, it's our tag signal. This is our ground to yellow. That's an oddball. I ran red to brown in the RV industry. At least the 2 shops I've worked in, brown is more often than not, or hot. So hot. This is actually for the light, so white to white. So did the 2 colors that matched, and then process of elimination from there. Tried to make everything relatively even, and then we're gonna make this watertight. Even though, knock on wood, the inside of my cab will never be full of water. In theory, this is going to go in there because I made sure this tube fit first. Shimon, Lee. There we go. Just got to yell at it like Chris Tucker. Shimon, Lee. And that looks about good right there. I would normally use a torch for this. I am currently out of gas, so flicker stick it is. And kind of wave her around, and of course got my fan on, so that's gonna blow my fire around. Whoa! There we go. Shrunk wrap it did. Bam, I'm hitting a little more heat right there, I think. And other than that, we're gonna jump forward to probably running this. Alright, so screw up number 1. My little bundle of nice, neat little butt connectors here was too fat for the little plastic bolt that holds the tack to the bracket, so we get to undo all this. Bam. Alright guys, so again, tack's in place. It's half-assed routed. You don't have to go to this lengths to install a tack. I actually have most of my dash tore out anyways because I need to rewire all of my taillights and stuff. So I actually have a lot of my dash tore apart anyways. And it just made it a lot easier. It was only 4 bolts to pull this out. And with my little test light here, basically what I've done is I'm actually going to tie into my heater, which I never use, or my controls over here anyways. I can do the same thing with the radio, and through process of elimination, I have discovered this one right here is going to be, it's actually, it's that one, that is my, and of course I can't see it, but that guy right there, when the key on, that's my power, obviously, big wire. That's what I'm going to tie into to power my tack. So, alright, so I tried to tie it to the 1 wire, which should have been a correct power source from the fan, which didn't end up working. For whatever reason, I couldn't get the tack to work. So, I assumed that maybe the tack stopped working, and then a half-assed wire ended up again, and it works. And I've currently, super sketchy situation, as always, but I mean, I do have it. Obviously, a truck running. short. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just completely running my own everything. So when we come back, I'll show you how I ran it and the tach where it's supposed to be. I lied to you. I wanted to show you something real quick because literally I pretty much started this entire mess all over again. Basically because I tried to ground to right here where there's already a ground, and all I can think of is there just wasn't a good enough ground. I ran my own ground, hooked back up to the same exact wire I was already tied into, hooked up to the same tach wire I was tied into, and this thing works. So next time when we jump back, this will be hooked up and running, and I'll show you that I did not run things like this, I promise. Alright, so aside from full installation, not installation, reinstallation of the dash, I'm pretty much on this final step here. And what that is gloves and washing the face of this mamma jamma, because that grody fingerprint will annoy you for the rest of eternity if you don't get them off right now. So hopefully when I put this on, I'll never take this off again. I'm aware that this thing looks a little bit rough. It's supposed to. It's supposed to match the truck. Bam. That's tight. That's tight. Now, bam. Power off. On. Tachometer. Yes. Alright. Now, I guess I'll show you. It's tied in to what was my fan wire. I did unfortunately mangle. Oh, I got the truck running still. Mangle the power wire for the fan. The fan does still work. I'm gonna go back through and fix that. Just not right now. Shit, that's it. I got everything all tied in nice and neat up there. I pulled up a diagram and found out you can either run directly off the coil, or you can tie in just the green off the ignition controller for the ignition coil, and signal from the coil for your RPMs. And then this is just the better ground that I ran. I'm gonna go through and tidy this stuff up a little bit, and other than that, I think I might go take this thing for a cruise and actually see what kind of RPMs I've been taking it to, because I've been driving this thing this entire time with no tach on it. I've made sure that I didn't take it real high, but that's it. Let's go drive. Alright guys, so I'm gonna take this thing out, do a little pull in it. I pulled up the specs on it. I don't remember the exact horsepower specs. I'll try and give them to you later. But I know that it made peak power at 3,800 RPMs. I'm assuming that's probably about what it'll make it at now. And I really don't want to spend it over $4 grand because I don't want to hurt it. I still need the block and the rods and the crank and everything for the rebuild. So I made a previous video, but I had the mic in a bad place and the windows open. So I'm gonna try and get you some better exhaust notes. If you can really hear any in here, I don't think you can, but it got real bad. You couldn't listen to it. Thing was phenomenal. super long gears. Sure, it'll be interesting in the dyno session as well. And again, this thing's bone stock. I'm not sitting here claiming this thing's going to make a bunch of power. I've actually been doing the exact opposite. My friends seem to think it's probably going to make around 150 or something. I think it's going to make like maybe 90 and maybe like 200 foot-pounds of torque. I'm hoping to, after the rebuilds, to be making like maybe 200 horse and maybe 300 foot-pounds. We will see. I'm also hoping to be making power a little bit higher. I'd like to be making power more around like, I think like maybe 42 or 45. I would like this thing to RPM a little bit higher than it does. And it'll probably take some higher RPMs. Now again, I don't want to hurt it. I need some of my bottom end, you know. Most importantly, the block. I intend on reusing the rods, the crank, depending on the condition of the bore walls. I might even reuse the factory pistons. Other than that, you know, everything is going to be in induction, you know, in the heads and the intake manifold, the carb can, you know, that's going to be where my power comes from. But we'll boogie this thing on home, and hopefully I got some decent exhaust notes and you can hear me this time. The window is up and the mic in a better place. And just one more for you. And we'll jump back in the garage and have a little chit chat to get back there. Alright guys, so if you're still hanging out, thanks for hanging out. I know that wasn't necessarily the best or most interesting video, but I'm trying to crank out a little bit of content on the truck before, obviously, I tear it apart. And I know that I've been threatening to tear apart the truck for a while, but as you see, I've got a stack full of parts down here. I'm not made of money. I don't have any sponsors, any backing, anything. So, you know, every part and everything I do is 100% me. And pretty much where I'm at, I'm like 200 bucks or so away. I just have like a few more parts I need to throw in the truck for safety reasons for the dyno session. Again, I am not claiming that this truck is going to make a whole bunch of power. It isn't. In fact, pull up the factory numbers here. It made 135 horsepower at 3,800 RPMs and 243 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000 RPMs. Not impressive numbers, not impressive RPMs. I'm hoping to bump those numbers up 1,000 RPM and 100 horsepower or 100 on the torque and the close to that range on the horsepower. I'm hoping to make around 200 horse, 190, and close to 300 foot-pounds, if not a little bit over. That might be close to like 320 or so. Other than that, that's all I got. And while I'm on the topic of just not having any sponsors and being broke, any likes, comments, watching the videos all the way through, especially those shares. I'm up to 74 subscribers. I know that's a small number, but that's really, really big to a little guy like me. As my numbers go up, you know, potentially I could, you know, get the monetizing going and make a little bit of money. And obviously that would afford me better cameras, more parts, more content. Could possibly even have some people hanging out with me. You know, the scene where all my stuff fell off the van could have been a lot cooler had I had, you know, another extra person with extra camera following me around. But hopefully next time you see the F100, I'll be slinging a radiator in it real quick and taking it to get a dyno session real quick. After that, the engine's getting blown apart, and that will be a very documented tear down and engine rebuild all on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Shoot, that's all I got for you. Again, thanks for all the loyal people who hang out and watch me do stupid stuff and, you know, be unimpressive. But Again, if you could share, especially on the Facebook. I don't Facebook. My wife runs my Facebook page. So if any of you watch this and can do some sharing on Twitter, Facebook, any social media you have that has an outreach, is greatly appreciated. That helps dramatically. Again, thanks for tuning into the Chop Shop, and hope to see you again.